Hi, everybody. It's Michelle Jackson, and I'm here today to talk to another amazing author from the Black Writers Workspace page. We had a few technical hiccups. We were supposed to start at 4 o'clock. It's 4:25. However, we're here, and we have Sheryl Middleton, who is a children's book author. She's here also to talk about her book, All Things Stay the Same. And we are going to just enjoy this time with her, although she's sitting in the car. And we're gonna make this work because we wanted to make sure we got this in. All Things the Same. I'm sorry, I misspoke initially about the title of her book, but it is a children's book for disabled youth, and it talks about autism and how to empower and inspire our youth that are living with autism and their parents. And so I'm very excited to have her. I think it's a very timely topic, something that we can all learn from. And so please join me in having her on the screen, and also join me on July the 30th because Sheryl Middleton is going to be at the book relaunch party that takes place on Friday, July 30th from 5 to 9 p.m. She's one of our exhibitors. And that's why I'm so excited to have her as well, because you can come out, you can meet with her live, you can talk to her about your books, or you can buy books from her. And that's what this is all about. So over the next couple of days, you're going to see my face a lot, interviewing speakers for our writers symposium and our exhibitors for our book fair. This is part of the package. So if you still want to exhibit at the book fair, please do so. And you can do that by going to boothcentral.com and looking up the Black Writers Workspace book relaunch party and book fair. So let's have Sheryl on the screen. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we had a little hiccup earlier. It happens. It's technology. It's something we cannot control. That's what technology has proven to us, that we cannot control it. And so, but we're here now, and we want to take this opportunity to learn about you and to learn about your book. So tell us about All Things the Same.
Sure. So, my story, All Things the Same, is about a character named Peter who has autism, and he likes everything to be the same. And if you know anything about autism, you will know one of the common characteristics that all children and adults with autism have. They are very resistant to change. And, as human beings, we are all creatures of habit, but, changes and things occur and we kind of shrug it off and we go on our way. But this is someone that falls under, with autism spectrum disorder. It can, be really unsettling for them, create a lot of anxiety. And this is just a common characteristic that is known with any child or adult that has autism. So what I noticed, the impetus for writing the book, I always work with children that have special needs because I am a special education teacher, and every year I have at least one child in my class that has autism. And, I just learned so much from my students. And I noticed when I would look at books, children's books about children with autism, I didn't see something with a positive message, and that was a little concerning to me. And I understand that autism does have its challenges, and I do understand, there is a place for books with, explaining to siblings about how, their brother or sister might be older, but they might developmentally act younger than them, and trying to teach the sibling how to have patience and what to look out for. But it's always something that has kind of a negative connotation. So it's kind of like looking at autism as, a life sentence, and if there's nothing positive out of it. So I did want to create a story with a positive message. And actually, my character, Peter, he is a hero in this story. So it does put a different spin on it. I think it's very empowering for children with special needs to know that, even though you might have, a learning difference or disability, it does not mean that it has to be a life sentence for negativity and misery, that you can still, make great gains, accomplish goals,
Mhm.
in spite of whatever challenges you may have. And I think it's important for children that are as you say, non-disabled, to see and read these books as well, to understand, like, I don't need to look at children that are different from me as it's something negative or it's a burden, because everybody has a place in this world.
Absolutely.
And everybody can contribute, to this world in a
Absolutely.
positive manner.
You talk about Peter being the hero in your book, and I'm sure that he is definitely the hero in your book. However, you are a hero to all of us because as a special needs teacher, you are giving back so much to all of us. And I'm sorry. um, wow, where did this come from? My mother taught school for years, and so just listening to you talk makes me think of her. Wow, I can't believe I'm crying. I never cried, so I just want to say that.
Okay.
But I'm very, very happy to have someone on the screen who's done so much great work with kids because it means a great deal. I have friends who have kids with autism. I can only imagine the fear that they had going into something so difficult when there was so little information out there for so long. So to know now that we have teachers who are so educated and who are equipped to write books and to inform and to provide the type of resources that our parents need in order to be successful at raising a happy and healthy youth. I want to talk to you though about some of the words that are used that we need to better that we need to change when we talk about kids with disabilities, because I feel like we as writers, we're wordsmiths, right? We're here to make it all make it all make sense, and we want to be experts at using the right terms when we're talking about
Okay.
different things. And for you as a special ed teacher, I grew up hearing certain terms that are now no longer politically correct when it comes to
Yeah.
youth with disabilities. And so I just wanted to ask you about some of the terminology. What is the right way? How do you talk about this issue with people? What are the terms that we need to correct so that we're not demeaning or downplaying what the condition is, and that we can understand that youth with autism can have a very healthy life? What are some of those terms? Just throw them at me because I know you hear them
Okay.
all the time.
Okay. So I try to stay away from using the word autistic. I'll say a child or an adult with autism. And the only reason why I do that, because I think autistic, it kind of gives a connotation that it's, the person has limits, and, it kind of gives a negative connotation. So I do try to say, people with autism, a child with autism. I try to stay away from autistic. Um, Also, in terms of autism, just to give a little background for anybody that might not know what autism is, it is a developmental disorder, which inhibits you from interacting with others socially, and it also, really gives you a difficult time communicating as well. So usually when people have children, you have those developmental milestones when you go to the pediatrician. And, you might say, if it's your first child, you might say, you know what, I don't see my child reaching these milestones.
Mm-hmm.
And the best person to reach out to would be, your pediatrician. If your child is school age, reach out to the teacher. You do need a medical diagnosis to be diagnosed with autism. And there is a broad spectrum under the ASD, the Autism Spectrum Disorder umbrella. You could be what they say high functioning, meaning
Mm-hmm.
that, you have above average to, superior intelligence. But you still have those characteristics, the difficulty to communicate with others, really resistant to change. And those people, you kind of coin them as having Asperger's. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what they call high functioning, which I don't like to use the word high functioning, so I'll say Asperger's, but that's what that means. So you usually have someone with, above average to superior intelligence, but you can tell little awkward social situations, very resistant to change, may become irritated if there is a change in schedule and you can't quite know why, and that's the anxiety coming out. Because
Mm-hmm.
what, annoys us a little bit, think of it like 100 times, 1,000 times more irritating to that person. There is no cure for autism at this time. As children develop and they get older, you can see some of the characteristics they may lessen. The children will learn compensatory strategies with all of the support that they'll receive, or they should receive in school, so that they're able to, kind of acclimate in today's society. But usually children are diagnosed by the time they're 18 months old. Um, and I just wanted to give you a little background on that.
That's
So,
great.
and
That
you'll
is
also
great.
notice
Mhm.
with autism, autism can also follow along with another special need. So you could have autism and you could have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. You could have autism and you could have a developmental disability, which we used to say years ago, mental retardation.
Mhm.
So there are many things that can go in line with autism.
Okay. Well, tell me something about writing this book. Talk to us about the process and what it is that you learned about yourself in writing the book. You were telling me before we got on that you started this book a while back. You tried to get it published. It kind of sat there for a while and then you picked it up. What talk to
Yes.
us about that experience and what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I'm a procrastinator and I need to work on that because it took me so long to publish, and I would send out, the manuscript to the children's writer publishing book, and I would get it every year, and I would send it out to these different publishing houses, and sometimes you get letters back, sometimes you don't get anything, and you just have to realize, it's really, really difficult to get a children's book published. So if you're getting those rejection letters, to all of my fellow authors, don't let it discourage you, because that's the norm. Most of the manuscripts go into what's called a slush pile, and it's like every once in a while, it's kind of like getting into the NBA. It's really, really difficult and very, very special. So years went by, and I said to myself, you know what? I have to do something with this book. I'm compelled to publish it. And I said, you know what? I will just self-publish it. So I thought to myself, I need an illustrator, and my oldest child, my daughter, she's in
So Cheryl, we're having
college
some
for
technical. Can you hear me? We're
digital
having some
animation illustration. So my daughter Moana, she illustrated the book, which is really special because it's my first book.
Okay, we're having some technical difficulties. And I know it's because of location and
I
just
can hear
delaying.
you. Yes. So
Okay.
my daughter Moana, she illustrated the book. And
Okay.
it's very special. It was definitely a labor of love for her because she's more of a, oh,
Like I said, we're having some technical
okay.
difficulties for a number of reasons, but nonetheless, I
Anime.
wanted to
So
have her on. And we're going to bring her back at some point because, first and foremost, we want to make sure we get through this interview because it's very important. It's still going to be out there and it will be uploaded to our podcast. But I wanted to spend a little bit more time with Cheryl. So we're going to definitely bring her back at some point. I think we've got you back. Are you good now? Can you hear me?
can you hear me? I can hear you just fine. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
We were having some difficulties, but that's okay. That's
Okay.
okay. I mean, it happens. It's what happens when you go live, and people probably want to know why don't I take these, but I don't take them because I like the natural flow of a conversation, and I just cried, so I've got to. I am amazed at myself, something I rarely do, but I do love teachers, and I love what you do. And I
Thank
know we
you.
had to kind of cut this short because I have to go into another interview, but I did want to wrap up by letting you tell everybody where to get your book, and to invite them out to your booth on July the 30th.
Okay. So everyone, you're welcome to come see me on July 30th. The book can be published on Amazon if you just type in All Things the Same. So this is the book right here. And you can also reach out to me at Sheryl Middleton. That's my Instagram. And I have on there my website page and also a link to the Amazon site. But it's called All Things the Same. And, I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I enjoy creating it. And I thank you so much, Michelle, for having me.
Absolutely. I want to tell everybody to go out and get Sheryl's book. I need you to have this on your shelf. If you're like me, you have friends that have kids with autism, and they're doing a remarkable job. And people like Sheryl help us to move the needle in understanding these conditions and to make sure that we are being fair and equitable in how we handle people with this particular disability. A disability doesn't mean that you won't have a great life. It doesn't mean that you can't be happy and have love and laugh and all those different things. And that's what I love so much about her book, the fact that Peter is the hero, and he's a little young man who has autism. So Sheryl, thank you so much for being with us. I hate that we had so many technical challenges. However, we got through the interview, and we're going to bring you back again. Sheryl's going to be at the Black Writers Workspace Virtual Book Fair, and that's on Friday, July the 30th. So come out and meet with her, please. I really do ask that you do that, and to buy her book. That's what's important. We are mostly self-published authors. Many of us self-publish for choice. It was our decision to do so because it is so difficult to get a publishing deal. We wanted the world to see and to read our stories, and so that's why she's doing what she's doing. She's an expert in working with youth with disabilities, and so for having her to write a book about autism is so remarkable. And so thank you so much for everything that you do and for being here. I know you're in New York, Long Island. I'm in New Orleans. Maybe one day we'll cross paths somewhere. I would love to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. Good evening, everyone. Have a great night.
So everyone, thank you so much for helping us to get through that interview. There's always, chance that there's a technical difficulty here or there. And so I'm happy to have had her. I think that we're going to definitely bring her back so that we can talk longer about her book. But I do encourage everyone to join us on July 30th to meet with Sheryl and to purchase her book. Thank you.